Hi, this is Dave. And this video is being produced for agent personnel and terminal personnel for the TII family of companies regarding the carrier setup experience using RMIS. You may have already watched my video regarding the interface that the terminal personnel use for TII. This video deals with the carrier setup from the carrier standpoint. Most carriers, 90+%, have already done a setup with RMIS. We're going to use a test RMIS MC number and a test carrier to expedite the process, and we're going to use one that has already done a setup. Here's the email that the carrier will receive, and the sender, which would be you, is copied on the email with the carrier invitation. The first thing you might notice is that there's no reference to the particular TII entity you're using. Instead, it mentions RMIS, it mentions the TII family, but again, there's no reference to any specific TII entity. So you may want to tell your carriers what they're going to receive and that they should not look for an email from Aetna, Greentree, Jones, etc. Let's click here to get started. The invitation code pre-populates, so the carrier does not need to enter that again. Going to the next step, now you'll see an introduction. It details a few of the benefits of enrolling with the TII family through RMIS, and it also includes the logos for all of the companies. So if a carrier was confused before this screen, maybe this will help unconfuse them. Next step, again, we're going to enter the dummy MC number that we've been provided. And we'll confirm that this is the name and address of this test carrier. Here's some basic information, again, that was already within RMIS because this carrier has done a setup in the past. Going to the next step, contact information. Same thing, basic contact is already there. There are a few things the carrier will need to do on this screen, however. Number one, indicate whether they're using a factoring company or not. We're going to select no for the purposes of this demonstration. They need to check whether the pay to is the same as the main address. They could enter the information here to the right manually, or if it is identical to the carrier setup information on the left side of the screen, they can simply check that box and it will fill in the right side pay to information. They have to have at least one contact entered. They don't have to fill in the rest. They can either choose that the sales contact is the same as the others, or they could click the box to indicate they don't have sales contact information. And go to the next step. This page can be tricky. We're asking carriers to deselect any TII entities they don't want to sign up for. Now this sounds backwards, but it's intentional on our part. We are going to clarify the language on this page to try to make it even more obvious to the carriers that they are opting out if they click any of the boxes. So it would help if you would notify your carriers when you speak to them that they should not click any of the boxes, and that will enable them to get set up for all TII entities at the same time. So to expedite this process, let's click most of these. Again, this means we're opting out of Aetna, American Wind, etc. And we are only going to sign agreements for Marathon Transport and TII Logistics. The carrier will then get a notification informing them that they've chosen to opt out of the following companies. If they want to go back and take another stab at it, they can edit those selections. They'll get another notification. They've selected to work with two entities. They'll be signing 2 broker agreements over the next few pages. These, of course, are digital documents. The carrier simply needs to scroll all the way down, add the checkbox that they agree to the terms of the agreement, and go to the next agreement. Same thing for TII Logistics. And we're off to the insurance information. Again, this carrier has already done a setup, So in this case, by going to the next step, the carrier gets to see what our insurance information is. The carrier's agent, their insurance agent, is going to receive an email from RMIS indicating that they need a certificate if there's not already one on file. And here are the requirements for that certificate. RMIS is the certificate holder, not the TII family. If RMIS gets a certificate showing TII family of companies, it will be rejected. We require $100,000 of cargo insurance and $1 million of commercial auto liability insurance. The W-9 setup can be tricky. The information the carrier enters needs to match identically with what they've provided to the IRS. Otherwise, there will be a mismatch. And we do non-certify carriers if there's an IRS W-9 mismatch. The carrier needs to fill in boxes 1, 2, and 3. 3 will designate whether they'll get a 1099 from us or not. They need to enter either their social or their FID number. Check the box that they're entering correct information and proceed. The carrier profile is pretty simple. A carrier does not need to enter everything that you're about to see over the next couple of pages. They do need to enter at least one mode, let's pick flatbed, and at least one commodity. We'll choose metals. They can enter as many as they would like. They don't need to enter a SCAC. They do need to enter at least one truck and at least one trailer. They don't need to enter any other information. Same with the authorities page. If they have additional authorities for Alaska, Canada, or Mexico, they can indicate that here, but it's not necessary. Here's a page advising carriers that we prefer to receive their paperwork via Trance Flow. That information is also on the rate confirmations that come from Tilt. They can download Trance Flow Velocity if they'd like. If the carrier wants quick pay, they would designate which of the two quick pay options they would like here. For this purpose, let's assume the carrier wants 3% quick pay. They would then receive a choice of how they want paid. By going to the next step, they'll get an agreement in which they formally allow us to take that 3% fee for quick pay. Had they not chosen quick pay, this agreement would not have come up. Finally, California Air Resources Board truck and bus compliance. This is where the carrier is telling us if they're CARB compliant. The default is no. The default reason is that they operate in California but are not currently truck and bus compliant. Or they can choose, I do not operate in California. And that's the end of the setup process. The carrier won't be certified if they don't meet the qualifications, or if we're still waiting, or if RMIS is still waiting for an insurance certificate. So the carrier will receive this notification with their carrier number, their RMIS carrier number, as well as some additional information that might benefit them. A carrier can use this registration number as well as their zip code to enter into RMIS. They can update their profile information, they can redo their W-9 if there was a mismatch, or they can sign additional agreements. So remember, we don't supply customer service through RMIS. If a carrier contacts RMIS, they'll be told to reach out to the Pittsburgh office and given our number here. We don't mind assisting carriers, but we usually won't be able to sit on the phone with them for the entire duration of their carrier setup. We appreciate any help you are able to lend in this process as your carriers are looking to get set up with the TII family.